Hello, welcome to my channel, Becoming Bev. I'm at a campground in South Dakota in the Black Hills. So I decided that I wanted to be somewhere special for my birthday, and that'll be another video. But for today, I'm going to share a letter that I received from Monica, and then I'm going to do her van tour. Monica and I met at the 48th Van Nationals, and I love her story so much. So for now, I'll read you the story. My parents, mostly my father Randy, better known as Crowbar, and my uncle Bob got my family into vanning. I was 8 years old, and I remember staring through the gates, waiting for my Uncle Bob to meet us. I had never seen anything like it. Hundreds of beautiful, polished vans. I was hooked. At the age of 12, I got a paper route, and I saved every cent that I made. I told my dad when I was 16 I was going to buy my own van. My paper route wasn't easy. I lived in a little town called Sullivan in the farm country. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning and rode my bicycle through all kinds of Wisconsin weather to do that paper route. When I was 15, my dad came home with a dark green 1965 GMC. It was ugly, but I could see the potential. I didn't have enough money saved yet, so my dad fronted me the rest. My father and I were close, but that GMC van made us even closer. My father and I didn't have a lot in common until that van. After 2 years of working on the van, we took it to its first van show in Illinois. I'd named my van the Rose, and at the show, I talked one of the airbrush artists into painting a rose on both sides of the van for only $50. I was thrilled. The next day at the Van Nationals, I was speechless when my name was called for first place early Chevy. Years later, I met my husband-to-be, and I traded my van to my dad for a car that we desperately needed. Dad promised the van would come back to me. I lost my dad when I was 37 years old. My mother handed me the keys back and said, "This van has always been between you and your dad." This was not the way I wanted to get the van back, but Dad kept his word and was true to his promise, and I got my van back. The Rose is no longer the Rose. In memory of my dad, I am now the proud owner of the 9-Ball Express. I'm making a dream come true, and I hope to pass it on to my daughter someday. I just love people's stories, and I love sharing Monica's, so I hope you enjoy Monica's van tour as much as I did in getting to meet her. Hello, I'm here with Monica today. And one of the cool things about being at the Van Nationals is all the amazing stories that you hear. So, Monica, where are you from?
I'm from Wisconsin.
And tell me about your van. What year, what model?
It's a 1965 GMC. It's a handy bus, or handy van, excuse me, handy van. It's a 350 V8 in it. It has slam shifter, it has a line lock. It's a labor of love. It's built by a whole bunch of people that had helped me throughout my years.
How long has this van been in your family?
I have owned it since I was age 15 with my dad's help. My dad actually had to help me for a little spurt where I couldn't keep it myself, so he kept it for me. I'm 53 now, so I've owned it since I was 15 years old.
Wow, that's crazy. I want Monica to share a story with me. I sat across from her at dinner the other night, and I freaking love this story, and I want to share it with you guys on YouTube.
My father loved me very much, and the time that he had to take it for a spurt, I was following him with another van and a camper, and this van actually has a Scamp that comes behind it. And he was driving this van and the Scamp with my ex-husband in the front seat. They're going down the road. We're going down these country roads out in Penfield, Illinois. All of a sudden, his lights go out. And I'm thinking to myself, "Dad, don't do this. I can't see you." And then he turned around and he kept on driving. The lights went out again. They came on, went out again. Then I saw a big flash underneath the engine. Yeah. All of a sudden I see my dad jump out the driver's side, ex-husband drop out the passenger side. They met towards the middle of the van, between the van and camper, and my dad was trying to get the fire extinguisher out of the camper. All of a sudden my ex-husband goes, "Randy, the van's starting." My dad jumps out from one side. My ex-husband jumps out of this side right here. And next thing you know, the van's going down the road all by itself. No lights on, going down this road. It's a country road, headed for a bridge over a ravine. We're thinking, oh my God, it's gonna go over. My heart is just racing because I'm following, watching this. My dad, who's this little stocky, heavy guy, is chasing, running after this. I've never seen my dad run before. He's running after the van until he couldn't see it anymore. The van goes over the bridge.
It makes it over the bridge.
Makes it over the bridge, and we're like, oh my God. Goes around a curve. Came down into a farmer's field, hit a post and barbed wire fence.
Oh my goodness.
Which put a dent in that corner of the van on the driver's side. And then it stopped in the farmer's field. Farmer goes out and he starts yelling, "Hey, there's no camping out here."
You're like, we're not trying
We're not trying to. And then the farmer goes, "If you don't get out of here, I'm calling the police." Next thing we know, my dad's yelling, "Call the police, I'm gonna need them."
Right.
Farmer comes down, police show up. Police heard the story, gives my dad the clipboard and says, "You better fill this out because they're not going to believe me at the courthouse."
Right, the van just took off on
that
its
it just
own.
took out by itself. And then the farmer didn't charge us because he had a story himself about this runaway van.
Yeah.
Then we got it back to camp, and then the year later, we went to the same event. Me and my dad got in really, really late at night, so he just parked it right in front of the bandstand. We went back in the camper, fell asleep, got up in the morning. Everyone was walking around the van trying to figure out how the van got there. Nobody wanted to park near it. They said Christine was at it again.
Oh my God.
It just had that vision because nobody was up when we pulled in. Okay. So they were wondering how the camper and van got to the event and nobody was in it.
Love it, love it. Would you mind showing us around your van?
No,
all right,
I can do that. This is my van. Like I said, I've had it since I was 15. This is the second customization that's been done on this van.
Okay.
First time it was called the Rose and it was red. This now is in honor of my father. He was into pool. I figured in his honor, I would go ahead and make it into a pool hall for him.
All right.
So the vision right now is, if you look at the bench seat, it's a half a pool table.
Right.
So someday, when I finish it, it's gonna be a full-size pool table with the reflection of the mirror.
Wow.
I'm gonna put a mirror on this side.
Okay.
To have the illusion of a full pool hall.
Awesome. Love it.
This is the infinite side of the dent. It's no longer here, but banners do know that this was gray at one time. This is where it hit the barbed wire fence and the post.
Okay.
So I did a temporary paint job on it.
How many of these van events would you say you've been to over the years?
Oh my God. Vanning, when I started, when I was 8 years old, my dad took me to every single one of them, and I would say we went to a van event almost every weekend.
Wow. So
and
hundreds.
Hundreds and hundreds of van runs.
And
so.
what keeps you coming back to these van rallies over and over?
Family.
It's your van family.
Yeah.
I totally understand that.
If I need anything, they have been there for me through thick and thin, for everything.
Got it.
And I've had a lot of things in my life happen, and it's amazing the love and support I get from everyone.
I totally get that. If there are any women out there, and especially solo women, that are thinking about combining their van life community with this vanning community, what would you say to them?
I would say if you really love your van and you really want to get into this, you'll meet some very amazing people. They're very artistic people. There's so many ideals and like I said, it's a very loving community. I would say in the years that I've been vanning, I've only seen police called twice to an event.
Ever.
Ever.
That's amazing.
And I'm talking years and years and years of vanning.
Right.
But that's my personal. I only seen them twice at an event.
Wow.
So if that doesn't say anything, and I mean, you're talking hundreds of vans, and back then you were talking thousands of vans.
Right, right.
So it's...
I think about it a little bit like this. Like I was out there doing my own thing in my van, and then I got an invitation to come to one of these van rallies. So it's nice to feel like I'm not just out there on my own and part of a community now. So thank you for welcoming me in.
No problem. And the thing is that when you come to an event, we want you to feel important here. We want you to feel like part of the family. We don't want you going home saying, I had the worst time in my life. No, we're here to have fun.
Right,
We're here to
right.
enjoy each other and, you know, be family.
Got it.
So
Awesome.
thank you for joining our family.
Thank you. Monica, thank you for sharing your van and your story with me.
Thank you for asking.
Awesome. Yeah, and how long has this how long has this van been in your, I'm going to say it one more time. The next day at the Van National, what is going on with my hair?